In today's episode, we take a look at a push for brand purity from Case IH, our planter wars heating up, loans for capital equipment drop in the fourth quarter, Deere and Buehler's latest financial reports, and a look at the first center pivot irrigation machine. I'm Kim Schmidt, Managing Editor. Welcome to On the Record. Case IH's February dealer meeting in Florida has brought brand purity in dealerships back to the forefront, as Ag Equipment Intelligence reported in its February 15th print edition. AEI learned that Jim Walker, Vice President of North American Operations for Case IH, and other company officials directly addressed the subject of competing lines. Kubota, who is aggressively expanding its presence in the ag equipment business, was specifically cited. One dealer pointed out many Case IH dealerships also carry Kubota because Case IH ignored the small tractor market in past years. Other brands that Case IH said it would be keeping an eye on at Case IH locations include specialty equipment makers MacDon, Kinsey, Great Plains, Kuhn-Krause, Geringhoff, and Drago. Discussions at the National Farm Machinery Show with the companies with a target on their backs show they are well aware of being singled out at the meeting. Some are concerned over the leverage Case would have in a softer market. If there's a combine inventory problem, and everyone expects there will be, when the dealer calls for help on notes coming due, there'll be conditions laid down, said one Shortline company executive. On Monday, we polled Case IH dealers to see how they will react to the Case initiative. The majority of Case IH dealers, 73%, said it would have no impact on their business plans. Many say Shortlines get customers of other colors into their stores. 19% plan to scale back on ordering the mentioned Shortlines in 2014, and 8% said they'll begin to eliminate the mentioned Shortlines from the dealership this year. During the National Farm Machinery Show last week, John Deere introduced its ExactEmerge seed delivery system, with claims of accurate planting at speeds up to 10 miles per hour. The announcement was made to dealers, farmers, and the media at the same time. Phil Needham of Needham Ag Technologies says it was highly unusual for Deere to unveil something like this to these groups at the same time. Historically, he says, they would let dealers see it first, usually in the summer. Needham says with other companies coming out with similar products, the combined introduction may have been a strategic move.
Kinsey last year had a pretty good product release at Farm Show last year at Louisville with their 4900 series planters. I mean, they're getting some interest, they're getting some traction. And I'm just wondering if John Deere didn't see that as a little market share threat from a point of view of, Kinsey gaining a few market share points against Deere. And again, Deere just wanting to literally plant the seed and tell their customers, hey, we're working on that. We're going to have a better solution here before long.
Luke Van Hurl, Director of Global Sales and Service at Kinsey, says the company saw substantial market share growth last year.
Our market share grew, now statistically speaking, 8%, but it grew 20 basis points by statistical measuring methods. That's phenomenal. If you look at our market share last year and our market share this year, it grew at a very steep rate.
Barry Nelson, Media Relations Manager for John Deere, says they wanted to introduce the planters in time for customers to review with dealers before the early order program begins this summer. In its February report, the Chicago Fed reported bankers responding to its latest survey expect machinery loan volumes to be lower in the January to March period this year versus the same period last year. More than half of responding bankers expect farmers' capital expenditures, including machinery and equipment purchases, to be lower in the year ahead. Stephen Fisher, a machinery analyst with UBS, said in a note to investors, "Our main concern is that farm fundamentals and equipment orders, commodity prices, land values, and income will deteriorate as the second half unfolds and weakness continues into 2015. We expect that reduced farm income and the absence of tax benefits will pressure future volumes, pricing, and margins." On February 14th, Buehler Industries, producer of versatile and Farm King equipment, reported net earnings for the first quarter were $4.7 million, up $1.4 million from the previous year. Looking ahead, the company expects to maintain its 2013 sales levels in 2014 due to export sales, a weaker Canadian dollar, and actively pursuing new markets. Adam Reed, Director of Marketing, told AEI they will be introducing 2 new self-propelled sprayers next week at Commodity Classic. According to Reed, the 240 and 280 horsepower sprayers with Tier 4i engines will feature the largest cabs in the industry. Deere's first quarter income was up 5%, and worldwide net sales and revenue were up 3%, according to its earnings report released February 12th. Deere's North American outlook for 2014 continues to call for a fall-off of 5 to 10%. Shortly after announcing its first quarter results, Deere also said it's laying off 120 employees by the end of March at Harvester Works in East Moline. And now, from the Ag Equipment Archives, it's 1948, and Colorado farmer Frank Zyback invents the first center pivot irrigation machine, revolutionizing irrigation technology. The system consisted of sprinklers attached to arms that radiate from a water-filled hub out to motorized wheeled towers in the field. In 1952, he was awarded a patent for the self-propelled sprinkling irrigating apparatus. If you have any suggestions on stories you'd like to see covered, send me an email at kschmidt@lespub.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.